Greetings everyone, Fahim's here. Today I am going to show you how you can configure your computer in Windows 11 operating system to run machine learning experiments. So you know already that for learning machine learning based experiments, it's better to have a Linux based operating system. But you know that Windows has improved a lot, and one of the best features of Windows is that the wide support and availability of WSL2 specifically. So if you are on the latest Windows, that means Windows 11, you should have the WSL2. I mean, obviously you need to install it properly if you haven't done it already, but don't worry about that. I'm going to show it to you step by step. So let's get back to the point. By default, if you want to run machine learning based experiment or research based experiments, you are gonna face a lot of issue in Windows 11, specifically for TensorFlow, because in terms of TensorFlow GPU's latest version doesn't work natively on Windows. It works in Linux based operating system. So either you need to run that from Linux, or if you want to do that in Windows, you have to go through a lot. But if you are on WSL2, it's gonna be hassle free. So how you can do that, I'm gonna show it to you step by step. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can install TensorFlow GPU and PyTorch GPU directly on Windows 11 by leveraging your WSL2. And in WSL2, we are gonna use the latest Ubuntu LTS, which is 24.04. And yeah, and for making this video, I have reinstalled Windows, so I'm gonna show you all the steps sequentially so that you don't miss any critical step along the way. All right, so enough talk, let's simply start our process. So before proceeding further, what I want to do is that I need to ensure that I have Windows Terminal installed on my operating system. So I can simply search for Windows Terminal. Yeah, it's there. If I simply open the terminal, you see by default it comes with Windows PowerShell, Command Prompt, and Azure Cloud Shell. Windows Terminal can be set as the default terminal application in your settings, and I want that specifically. So I'm gonna click on Open Settings. If you don't find it here, you can simply go from here and here, Settings. Same thing, same thing. All right, so I need to change the default profile and some other things, but before that I have to download the latest Windows PowerShell. So what is the specific Windows PowerShell, the latest one that you need to download from the internet or from the GitHub repository or from the Microsoft Store as well, if I'm not wrong. So that comes up with a lot of features which would help you. For example, it already has auto completion directly built into it, and you can apply some Linux based command as well, and it's definitely very powerful other than the legacy Windows PowerShell. So simply open any browser. I'm using Edge for now, but you can already understand that Chrome is my default browser. All right, before proceeding anymore about this browser topic, let me remind you that I am not associated with any one of them. You know that, right? Okay, so I'm simply gonna search for, you already see that my browser history suggests that I already used Chrome download. Anyway, so I'm gonna search for Windows PowerShell, and this is the one, installing PowerShell on Windows. And from here, download PowerShell, and from here it's redirecting me to GitHub. And from here, what I'm gonna do this, the latest x64.msi. The download has been finished, and I can simply install it. Next, just keep it as it is. Next. Okay, done. Now if I simply open my terminal, all right, let me you know what, let me simply pin it to the taskbar. You also see that the legacy Windows terminal also suggests you to install the latest one, which we did just now. So go to settings, and from here the default profile should be PowerShell for me, and default terminal application will be Windows Terminal. Cool. And actually, I don't need to display the legacy PowerShell in the drop-down button, so I'm gonna disable it here. I mean, hide profile from drop-down, but it's completely optional. If you want to have the legacy PowerShell in this drop-down menu so that you can access it later, you can keep it here. But I don't want that, so I'm gonna disable this one also. Azure Cloud Shell, I don't want that now. And yeah, that's it. Now, whenever I click on this plus sign, I'm getting the newly installed Windows PowerShell. Now, the thing is, it always shows you the version which I don't want. I mean, I don't want to check the version like this, because if I want, I can do that myself. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to PowerShell and command line. At the end, I'm gonna give it a single space and dash dash no logo. Save. I'm not sure if it's only one or two. Right, it's working. So there's no version printing here anymore like earlier. And if I simply open the terminal again, always I'm getting the default one without any versioning name. So that's what I actually wanted. Now you need to check your configuration. All right, so I should have told you about my configuration before showing you the processes. So currently I'm using a Windows based desktop, and let me give you my configuration so that you can understand in which configuration based computer I'm showing it to you. So currently I am having a CPU of AMD Ryzen 7 7700, which is 8 core and 16 thread processor, and I currently own 64 gigabytes of RAM and some SSDs and hard disks, and my GPU is NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060. But keep in mind, the entire process is gonna work only on NVIDIA GPUs, not AMD, not Intel, not anything else. Okay, so you also need to make sure that your virtualization is enabled. How you can do that? If you simply open your task manager and click on the CPU, you are gonna need to see what status it is showing it to you in the virtualization. So currently in my case, I have already enabled it, so it's saying enabled. But if you say, I mean, if you see that it's currently disabled, so what you need to do, you need to go to your BIOS and you need to enable the virtualization. For the AMD and Intel CPU users, the process might be slightly different. You can simply check the internet and understand how you can do that. Cool. So now what I need to do, I need to install WSL2. Okay, so I'm simply gonna right click in the terminal, again right click on the terminal and run it as an administrator. So here, to install WSL, I can simply use the command wsl.exe install, and it's gonna download the Windows subsystem for Linux, which is WSL2 in our case. So it has successfully installed WSL2, but even though the operation is successful, changes will not be effective until the system is rebooted. So you know, this is a very common issue of Windows operating system. So I need to reinstall my computer. I mean, sorry, not reinstall, reboot my computer, and you have to do the same. So let me come back after a few minutes, I guess. So welcome back, guys. I have come back after rebooting my computer, and now I need to install the Ubuntu, which we actually need. So I'm gonna do the same process again. I mean, not again, the terminal part again. So I'm gonna open my terminal with the administrator, right? So this is it. And now we can see the available Linux distros for us by using this command wsl.exe-list-online. So here they are providing us all of the list we have and we can install. We can definitely install exactly this Ubuntu 24.04, but if I'm not wrong, this native Ubuntu comes with the latest LTS, so I'm going to install that. How I can install that? That is very simple actually. So wsl.exe-install and the name of this alias. So I'm going to use Ubuntu. That's it. Now they're telling us to give our default Unix user account. In my case, it's going to be Fahim because I'm that person anyway. And password, let me give it a simple password, retype your password, done. So everything's done and we are inside our WSL. And it also gave us a Windows subsystem for Linux GUI from where you can access a lot of things. Yeah, GPU acceleration and a lot of stuff. But we are going to talk about that later in another video maybe, so it's not needed right now. Okay, and from here you can do another cool stuff, and that is, let me show you that right now. All right, so let me show you that. So if I simply click on settings, you get these WSL based settings, and here you can limit the processor. So let's say I have 16 threads in my current CPU, but if I want WSL to have only 8, I can do that. I can limit the RAM. You already have seen that I have 64 gigabytes of RAM, but let's say I don't want my WSL to use more than 10 gigabytes of RAM. I can do that. I can change the swap size. I can change the swap file location and a lot of stuff. So you can do those from here, and that's a very cool feature to have, which comes in WSL nowadays. So yeah, that's it for now. No, no, that's by the thing, that's it for now. I meant about this WSL GUI settings stuff, but we are not even close to what we want to do today in this video. All right, so yeah, you can already see that we have inserted into our WSL, but we can simply do this like this. Simply click the drop down. All right, let me simply stop it and open the terminal again, and you see the Ubuntu terminal is right here. Okay, so before doing anything, what we need to do, we need to install all the latest update, right? So sudo apt update, and yeah, and now sudo apt upgrade. Okay, now I want to install Miniconda. So simply go to your browser and search for Miniconda. Load. Installing Miniconda, if I'm not wrong, they now shifted the downloader to Anaconda. Yeah, we are already inside the Anaconda anyway. So Windows installation, nope, because we are installing inside WSL, so it's gonna be here, Linux installation. All right, as a blah 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 has started building packages for Intel Mac computer. Okay, Linux terminal installer. Yeah, that's what we want, and it should be Linux x86. So we want to download the latest one, so I'm gonna copy this and then paste it here and hit enter. Now, how do I verify my installer integrity? I don't need that right now. Install Miniconda by running one of the following commands depending on your Linux architecture. So Linux x86, I'm gonna simply copy and paste it here. Yes, press enter, 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 enter. Sorry. Yes. Yes. Do you want that? Yes, I want that. Like whenever I'm opening a terminal in WSL, I want the conda init to be activated. So I'm gonna type yes and press enter. That's it. But now what do we need to do? So let's see. Okay, we need to reload the bash rc. If you are on bash like me, you have to use that, but if you are also using ZSH, so you have to use these as well. So for now this is fine for me, and yeah, let me check. I'm simply opening a new terminal, and you see the conda has been activated. So that's what I wanted actually. So you see currently we are on the base conda environment. You can see the conda environment name right here. So before doing anything, we need to install Jupyter and Ipykernel. So we can install like this: conda install Jupyter Ipykernel. Yes, accept. Sorry, A for accept. Okay. Okay, so now I'm gonna install the PyTorch GPU and TensorFlow GPU both in a single Conda environment. But if you want, obviously you can create separate Conda environment to do that. But for now, I'm gonna keep it simple, so I'm gonna do that anyway. So let me create a new Conda environment, something like Conda create name. Let me name it something like ML, machine learning. Okay. I'm not going to activate it right now because I need to do some other stuff first. So the first thing that I need to do, I want to do is the tricky stuff, and that is TensorFlow GPU. So here, no, not this. Okay, TensorFlow GPU. So yeah, this is the docs that I wanted. Okay, I need to check the system requirement. Everything's fine. But here, I need to ensure this. So NVIDIA GPU drivers should be greater than 525.60. If you have already installed the driver properly, it should be fine, right? You see, my driver is 581, which is enough. And now I need to install CUDA Toolkit 12.3. Keep in mind that the version should match exactly how it is. So 12.3, I need to install exactly 12.3. 12.3, 12.3, 12.3, not 12.3.1, only 12.3. So that means this one, 12.3.0. Okay, and now Linux x86-64 WSL Ubuntu to select run file. Why is that? Because you can change the version whenever you want. So I'm gonna copy and paste directly in my terminal. Well, it's done. So now we need to follow the next one, which is installing this run file. All right. It might take a little bit of time before installing the procedure. So you have to keep patience and wait for a while. Sorry, I forgot to install GCC. So basically CUDA relies on GCC, and we need to install that first. So what I can do, so that install GCC G++, sorry, not essentials. Yeah, this one. Sorry, I did an error earlier. It would be like this: would have installed GCC G++ and build essential. Okay, let's see. Done. Now let's try to install the CUDA. End user license agreement, simply type accept and press enter, and make sure that you don't select this or this. So CUDA Toolkit 12.3, it's fine. CUDA demo suite, CUDA documentation, everything's fine. But if you want, you can remove this as well, I guess. But yeah, for now, let's simply go with install. Okay, please make sure that path includes blah blah blah. So I need to add these paths to our shell profile. So echo, and then I need to do export path equal user local, then this one actually. So basically copy and paste it here, bin, then path, dash fc. If you are also using ZSH, so you need to replace bash rc with ZSH. Okay, and the last one, which is ld library path, this one, or actually this one. Okay, export ld library path equal user local CUDA dependency lib 64 ld library path and append it to the end of /c. Again, if you are also using ZSH, so you need to use ZSH instead of /c. And now I need to reload my profile. So this is it. If you are using ZSH, you need to replace it with ZSH. Okay. You see, everything's now working fine, and we are also getting the NVCC CUDA compilation tools and CUDA version as well. So this is done properly, and now we need to go through the next step, which is we have installed CUDA Toolkit, everything's fine. Now cuDNN, and the mentioned version is 8.9.7. But the interesting thing is I have tried installing the latest one and it actually worked fine for me. So I'm going to follow that as well. Quick install with Conda. This is odd. I mean, surely they have changed the user interface, but the commands are also different. I used these a long time ago, most probably 4 or 5 months earlier, or even more than that. But this one is updated. Okay, download cuDNN library. So 8.9.7 Linux, x86-64, Ubuntu 2404, dev local, and let's install with the latest one and see whether it actually works or not. Alright, so the cuDNN download has been finished, and now I need to install it. Now I need to copy the keyring. Now I need to update my system and then install it. That's it, it's done. And now it's time to install TensorFlow GPU, I guess. So I'm gonna use this pip install TensorFlow and CUDA. So let me check how many environments I have installed here. Okay, so yeah, I want to install TensorFlow GPU in my ML environment. So I'm gonna go over there, conda activate ML. Again, whenever I create a new environment, I make sure that I install Jupyter and Ipykernel using the conda. So I'm gonna do the same here as well. Conda install Ipykernel and Jupyter. Done. And now I'm gonna install TensorFlow GPU. So it's done. Now we have to check whether the GPU, TensorFlow GPU is working perfectly fine or not. So I'm gonna follow this step from the official documentation of TensorFlow to check whether my GPU setup has been completed or not. Let's see. Voila, you see, it's working. So it found our GPU, physical GPU, GPU 0, device tab GPU. All right, so it's done. So we have successfully installed TensorFlow GPU. Now it's time to install, PyTorch GPU. PyTorch GPU installation process is very straightforward, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So it would be stable Linux. There's no conda anymore, I see. 12.6 CUDA 12.8. It's odd. Odd in a sense. Let me check. So our CUDA version is 13 here, but for our TensorFlow we have installed 12.3. Okay, but unfortunately 12.3 is not present here. So I'm gonna choose one which is nearer to 12.3 and is available. So I can simply go with this stable Linux pip Python CUDA 12.6, and yeah, that's it. Let's see. Sorry, I forgot to copy it properly. Yeah. So it seems that our installation process has been succeeded, but let's see whether it is actually working or not. All right. So yeah, I can do this. So I'm gonna open my Python here and import torch, and yeah. Okay, now check PyTorch, sorry, print torch.CUDA dot device count 1. That's good. Torch.CUDA, sorry, print torch.CUDA dot current device 0. Okay, and now check the device. So print torch.CUDA dot device 0 up. So we have got the device, and now lastly I want to check the device name, whether it can pick up my RTX 3060 or not, right? So print torch.CUDA dot get, sorry, device name, and the device was 0, right? Voila, you see, it successfully picked up my GPU also. So by this time our computer and WSL is completely configured for running machine learning application using PyTorch GPU and TensorFlow GPU both. Okay, now I want to open a Jupyter notebook and check in that notebook whether it's working perfectly fine or not. So this is the notebook wizard, and let me create a simple test here. Okay, so import torch, and I'm gonna apply the same command, bring, yep, bring device count. Okay, it's working. Bring, yep, bring, yeah, device object is there. Lastly, check the device name, bring, yep, it's working. So our PyTorch is working. Now check the TensorFlow STF, and let's do something like print tf config dot list physical devices GPU. Oops, I forgot another parenthesis. Yeah, it found it, you see, GPU. Let's check again. The source is from Stack Overflow. Everything's fine, I guess. Now let's do another thing. I'm gonna copy and paste a Stack Overflow snippet to see whether my computation is working on the GPU itself or not. So this is the snippet. Let's run it. So the TensorFlow version is getting mismatched, I see. Okay, let me check another script. Yeah, it's working, and the compute capability is 8.6 for my RTX 3060. It's also correct. Okay, so I guess this is it. So thank you everyone for watching this video till now. I hope if you have followed every procedure I have showed you step by step, of course, then you have already configured your Windows 11 operating system with WSR to run machine learning applications and utilize your GPU for TensorFlow and PyTorch both. So if you have managed to do this fine and you think that this video has helped you, then it would be really helpful for me if you simply like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and also let me know how it worked for you in the comment section. I will try my best to reply all of you. I will try my best, I can promise you that. Okay, so this is it. Thank you everyone. If you want to follow me, you can follow me in GitHub, GitLab, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I provide all of the links in the video's description box down below. So till then, ta-ta.